Yo, what's up, Bullish Nation? 109-89. Bulls get the dub against the Pistons tonight. Finally, putting together another full game. We got Josh on the line as always. What's it going? How's it going, Josh? What you up to?
I'm doing very well. Great to get back in the win column, much needed. And we saw Larry Markkinen play great tonight too.
And we also got Devin. I don't know your last name on the call. What's up, Devin, man? How's it going?
Hey, what's happening, man? It's Devin from the Three Part Pod. Real excited to be here. I'm just glad we just got a win, man. I'm just super excited. I'm on a high. I'm on a high.
I swear, and yeah, Josh, courtesy of Josh, Devin's on the pod. Excited to meet him. Where are you at? Where are you from? Let's get your Bulls origin story up front this time. Normally we save it till the end, but yeah. How long have you been kind of a Bulls fan, watching the Bulls? Then we'll get into the Pistons game.
All right, I got you. I'm Devin. I'm out here based in South Carolina. Not really with the local team. Just seeing Rose highlights on SportsCenter. He just really just graced my heart. I've been watching ever since, man. And I'm just excited, man. Just super excited. We got a good lead. Got a great future ahead of us.
All right, well, you picked a good episode to be on. We're finally talking about a win. The Pistons not up to par with the Bulls today. Blake Griffin hobbling around pretty visibly, but let's talk about how our squad did here. Hutchison out for the game, but no worries because we got Shaq Harrison in the starting lineup. 15.7 of 12 from the floor, even hit a three, 11 boards. He was just everywhere on the boards.
Wow.
5 assists, 3 steals, a block, plus 29 for the game. Just all around amazing game from Shaq Harrison. I mean, Lowry played well, but he was really the story tonight. And it goes to show trying something new, playing new players who are hungry, who are hustling, who play on the defensive end, who try their all in Gafford and Harrison actually provides value instead of just keeping them benched while no one else is showing effort. Anyway, let's start with you, Devin. How you feeling about Shaq's start in his game tonight?
Well, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't really seeing him just playing this well. Really surprised me. Just going in, we're really just lacking when it comes to wing depth and sliding Harrison over at the three. I just had me just raising some eyebrows, but just looking at the box score, went just phenomenal. Just went from he had 50 from the 3 point. Field goal was
50%, yeah.
58. Man, just was wonderful. It was good to hear. Good to see.
Yeah, we got also Lowry with a good game, 7 of 14 from the floor, 24 points. Got to the line, aggressive. He's been more aggressive lately. 3 of 4 from the 3-point line is the story here, though. 6 boards and 2 blocks. Josh, what you feeling about this Lowry marketing game?
It was due to come soon.
It was definitely
It
due.
was really due. How many games are we in now? 15 games. I mean, we've seen one good marketing performance in the first 14 until now, but I knew after those couple of dunks and that after he started the game off with that, he was back, and the Bulls looked for him a lot more than they have been. I mean, he got up 14 shots to most by a Bull, and he looked a lot more aggressive, and he was just playing to his strengths. Like, you didn't see him. He only took 4 threes. He made 3 of them. He had 10 out of his 14 shots. He took some mid-range jumpers, post-ups, face-ups, taking dudes off the dribble. I mean, he got Andre Drummond in foul trouble. It was good to see him back. But, I mean, how do you feel about he kept getting fouled while trying to take a three? I mean, what, 3 times, 4 times he was fouled while shooting?
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, I don't know why the Pistons kept doing that. It gave Lowry a lot of points, which is always good. I mean, he's a good free throw shooter, better than 7-Eleven, but it's just the closeout. Like, Lowry's threat of shooting causes, aggressive closeouts. And if you're giving him a little bit of room, and because, he hasn't been shooting that great, and then he makes one, then you might be stuck giving him a little bit more room than you're used to just because, like, that's how you started the game. And then you're closing out more aggressively, and he's already hit one or two. So now, I don't know, maybe it's just like the flow of the game, I guess. But it was fun seeing Lowry finally, getting a good game. And Boylan stuck with the starters for a while to close out that fourth. I thought it was the right move. Normally, you need to, take your starters out and not risk injury, but I feel like the Bulls needed to just close a game fully. So I wasn't even that mad at that, and I think that was kind of the logic. And besides, the most minutes went to Wendell at 33, so it's not like they were crazy overworked or anything. 12 points for Wendell, 3 of 7 from the floor, 6 of 8 from the free throw line. 15 boards for Wendell. He's just a monster. 5 offensive boards. What's his rank? Do any of you off the top of your head know his offensive rebounding rank? Because he's like top 5. I'm
Fifth
pretty
in the
sure.
league.
Fifth in the league.
in the
There
league.
you go.
It could be fourth after this game, man. I mean, how many did he have?
He had 5.
Offensive rebounds. Wow. On Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin too. Crazy.
Yeah, a block, a steal, an assist, and that assist was fire off the short roll. Plus 21, second on the team with plus 21. Devin, how you feel about Wendell? Just consistent force every game.
Well, when you talk about a consistent force, you really kind of think of somebody who's just doing just astronomical numbers. Wendell's been very quiet, but just very consistent, but just in a good way. He stays. He when there's open shots, he takes them. He reads the defenses, and he just really just connects off of it. Actually, what's your take on it? Just you see when it comes to all the other Bulls players, especially with Market and Slump, just seeing just Wendell being consistent. You think it'll translate to the rest of the season?
I think what the consistency with Wendell, even in this bad stretch, shows is that he's just going to go out and do what he needs to do every game, regardless of whoever else is showing up or not, because this is exactly the type of game and the type of role we want Wendell to play when everything is clicking, too. So when Lowry and Zach are hot, Satoransky's making plays, Otto Porter is running pick and roll occasionally, all you want Wendell to really be doing is grabbing up all the boards, making the right pass off the high post occasionally. I would play through him a little bit more, even if everyone else is clicking, and protect the rim. And he's doing that whether or not they're playing well, which is a great sign to see. I don't even know when Wendell had a bad game. He has had games where he's kind of disappeared or gotten into early foul trouble, but I don't recall him just playing badly, which is really awesome to see. But moving on to a player that does occasionally play badly, and tonight wasn't his best game, but at least it wasn't a detrimental game for Zach Lavine, as in he wasn't making the team worse. He was just kind of super quiet. 27 minutes for him, 5 points, 2 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 3.
Whoa.
Yeah, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. He was plus 11, so normally the thing is when Zach has a bad game and it's detrimental, those are the games you see negative 15, or he's leading the team in negative plus minus. But in games like this, he just kind of lets everyone else do stuff around him, runs in transition, plays decently, but still could be better. Josh, what do you feel of Zach Lavine's game here?
Well, I think the biggest problem that Bulls fans should have right now is that we can't get productive games out of Larry, Mike, and Zach Lavine at the same time. Game 1 of the season, Larry had 35 points. How did Zach go? I think he had 16 points and fouled out of the game.
Yeah.
I think there's only been one occasion this season that we've seen these two light it up, and that was against the Celtics when they both had career highs. And since then, they just can't seem to translate their play between the two on the court. And I don't know whether I can't say it's a system because they couldn't even do it last season probably, and it's a little bit concerning that you can't have both of them clicking at once, especially when your corner pieces of the cornerstones of the franchise, especially that you got Kobe White coming through ranks and stuff, and it makes you question how much longer if the timer for Zach Lavine on this Bulls team is starting to run low.
And if I could just interject real quick.
Please do.
There was a game last year, Atlanta versus the Bulls, where they both just had career highs, just even on another tip. But when it comes to this season, you don't really see Zach Lavine making his nifty layups and dunks. You don't see him making his step back threes. They're not really even good shots. They're just really poor contested shots. And even when it comes to the pick and roll between Laurie and Marketing, they don't really go to each other. even just before this game, Lauri's not really just looking for the ball or looking just to play off each other. And it is concerning. I really hope they can fix it.
Oh man, yeah, that the dual game. I just really want to see it. Zach Lavine, he's gonna be definitely appearing in trade talks as the deadline approaches. I feel like if this continues, but the Bulls don't want to, sell low. One good thing is that he is on a great contract based on what he could provide. I think he could do a lot better on a lot of different teams if his role was really solidified. I just think that it's not like to keep it short. I just don't think that the Bulls and Zach have agreed game after game upon what he's going to do that game. So sometimes he's passive, sometimes he's aggressive, but too much aggressiveness, too much doing like a lot and extra things that he doesn't need to do. I think he just needs to find that balance and play the team ball and find his right shots. I don't know. We've seen him have good games. It's easier to talk a little more calmly after a dub like this because it's not just the starters that played well, it's the bench as well. Kobe coming off the bench for 12 points, 3 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, really heating up lately, pushing in transition. I love the Bulls in transition. I tweeted out this one stat. They're first in defensive turnover percentage, and they're also first in points added off steals per 100 possessions, which is a really interesting stat from Cleaning the Glass. And it kind of makes sense when you look at it because the Bulls get a lot of their points off Chris Dunn steals. Now Archie Diacono and Shaq Harrison are just hounding the defenders. What do you think of Kobe's game, Devin?
Hey man, just whenever he comes off the bench, he's a spark plug. Now I've seen some talk of people trying to say, why is he not in the starting lineup? I would really just have him just at this point in the season coming off the bench. If you take him off of when you take him off of the bench and you put him in the starting lineup, there's not really that guy that's in that second unit. So if you stick him in that slot, he's really just sat there, just grow and flourish. There's one player that's just actually really concerning, and I'm surprised you haven't said anything yet about him, is Thaddeus Young. What do you think about his playing? Because just the shot that he takes, that weird behind the back pass that just turned into a turnover was just very concerning. What do you think the Bulls will just use him? Could he be in trade talks? Could we get a first round for him? Help me out, Kanan. I'm really confused.
It's Khan, but I'm gonna toss it to Josh because he had the while you were talking. So.
Well, I think his last 5 games have been very concerning in terms of watching Thaddeus Young's play, especially because the Bulls pay this man $41 million to come off the bench. And if you're paying someone that much money, you should expect like some pretty good production from him. And sure, he plays defense, sure he's a leader, but the way this Bulls team wants to play, the space and pace style of play, shooting a lot of threes, running in transition, it just doesn't. I said this again. I'll say this again. I've said it all season. It just doesn't really fit this. He doesn't really fit the system the Bulls want to play, and I don't really think he's a dude that look at trading this season because if the Bulls will make a playoff run, he's obviously pretty instrumental towards that. But I think he'll pick it up. But it's just a style of play, especially for second unit with Kobe White out there. It just really doesn't fit how Thaddeus Young wants to play, and he's trying to shoot he's shooting 4 threes a game, which isn't his game. He should be getting a lot more action in the pick and rolls, and the Bulls should be running a lot more post ups for him because that's where he's most effective. But I mean, he hasn't looked good this season, and these last 5 games have really shown it. And I think the fan base is starting to question to some extent, was the Thaddeus Young signing really worth the money the Bulls could have spent on somebody else?
I think it's all a bit of an overreaction. I think Thaddeus Young, yeah, he has had some rough games, but he's not the only one. Like the whole team. I just don't see the worry that we need to have with Thaddeus Young yet because he also playing in a role, makes the right passes, plays smart defense. He's definitely going to have his off games, and he is on the other side of 30, so he might have them less frequently than maybe we expect them to. But, I mean, Boylan kept his minutes to only 17 minutes today. Gafford with 14. I just don't think you need to worry too much about Thaddeus Young. Hopefully he turns it around and gives us that, like, not Wendell Carter type efficiency in production, but Wendell Carter type consistency in what he needs to do. 9 points for Thad, 4 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 boards, 2 turnovers as well. Playing in his second game in the rotation, Daniel Gafford, 2 points, 1 of 4 from the floor. Didn't have the statistical impact. He did, on the other hand, have 2 blocks, 3 boards, 2 of them offensive. I just like his energy. I just like what he brings. He's obviously not going to have that like all-star type performance that he did in his first game, like 10 of 12 from the floor, 21 points and whatever he had. But Devin, like, how are you feeling after finally unleashing Gafford?
If I'm gonna be honest with you, and I just love being honest, man. I love it. The way, just going back to what you said, with his play, his energy is contagious. Him being in the second unit just really adds to just grabbing rebounds and pushing in transition. That's something the Bulls really lacked before they brought him in. I'm pretty sure they were bottom of the league when it came to total rebounds. So just sliding him in and just seeing him play well, especially in that first game, was just really phenomenal. As far as this one, I didn't really look to play him well, but I'm just happy to see my guy on the floor, man. I just love it, man. Josh, what do you think, man? What do you think?
It's good to have him out there. I mean, the energy the Bulls just have been needing so badly because it's just something that not Wendell, sorry. I mean, Luke Cornett just does not offer that, and neither does Lowry when he's playing at the 5. I mean, Daniel Gafford just offers a different skill set that the Bulls, it's fair to say, don't have in terms of he plays as a rim runner, which Wendell Carter, he can do it, but he's not as effective as a rim runner as Daniel Gafford is because, Wendell obviously not as explosive, but it's just the energy and the impact he has for the second unit that's just helped this team. Like, he brought them back in the game against the Bucks, and sure, the stat line wasn't very impressive. He came down to earth a little bit tonight, but it's just the defense is the interior defense has really just picked up in these last couple of games that it had with Luke Cornett at the 5.
Luke Cornett out of the rotation at this point. I don't necessarily think that's right either. I think you can play Cornett in some matches. It's just you don't need a steady rotation. What you need is the right rotation for the right opponent. I think Cornett is a great match if you're playing the Charlotte Hornets and they have Cody Zeller out there, or if you're playing the Miami Heat and they're playing with Myers Leonard and Kelly Olynyk, or any of that archetype player, you can definitely play Cornett. But if it's a more athletic, rebounding, big, type of guy, then Gafford is going to be the move. You just need to adjust with whoever you're playing against. Chris Dunn, 6 points, 3 of 7 from the floor today. Missed both his threes. 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Grabbed another steal. He, still decent. Like, even his bad games this season haven't been awful like they used to be. And today, how many turnovers? Only 1 turnover. He's really worked on that. What did he have? 9 assists, 0 turnovers last game. So Chris Dunn, I like what we were seeing from him, and we really got through the whole squad. I do not want to forget about Arcidiacono, who's hustling hard. 9 points off the bench, 3 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, and I think he's averaging over 50% from 3-point line this year. He's awesome, hustling all the time. Him and Shaq on the floor together is just a menace hounding the other team. I feel like, did we see Archie, Shaq, and Chris Dunn in the same lineup? Do you guys remember? I don't know.
Probably. There was a lot of 3-guard lineups.
Anyway, those three
Jesus,
are...
Don't even go close to the 3-guard lineups, man. You're gonna make me throw up in my mouth.
I mean, it's not like
it's been working, man, lately.
It's really not that bad. Well. It started bad in the, if you look at their net rating and all that, it's not as bad as it seemed to start the year. And now, I mean, Boylan loves it so much that Harrison jumped all those guys into the starting lineup in order to preserve that 3-guard rotation off the bench: Kobe, Chris Dunn, and Arcidiacono. And it hasn't been awful. Like, the bench has gone on runs. They do play hard defense. They play the bench gives more effort than the starting unit. Now that Shaq's in there a little bit, energy is added. But I've been ranting. Devin, anything else you want to call out here from this game?
just one thing I just really want to pat the Bulls on their backs for this one is just their total rebounds. They just been really lacking this entire season, and I'm just glad they found a way just to turn it around. From the 3-point, they shot it well. I mean, most of it was purely just of Blake Griffin, just not just being a shell of himself. But they really shot it solidly. I can't even talk, man. Jesus, they shot it solidly from it. Got like 52%. Really happy with that. And that's pretty much it, man. I'm just excited, man. I'm just glad to be on the pod. We finally got a win, and hopefully we can just keep a streak going. That'll just keep a happy smile on my face.
That would be a lot of fun. Neil Funk calling Shaq Shaquille O'Neal was hilarious too. I love Neil Funk, man. We're gonna miss him after this season when he's gone. The Bulls on Friday play. I'm pulling it up right now.
Miami.
They play Miami. The Jimmy Butler return. You can see if you're watching YouTube. I got this Jimmy Butler jersey in the background. Bulls jersey, of course. Josh, any last words before I close out here?
Just touching on that Miami game. We all know how well Zach Lavine does when he goes against Jimmy G buckets. That's all I'm gonna say. He normally tends to have huge games.
And Devin, where can people find you?
They can find me at the 3-Part Pod. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on all streaming platforms. Guys, thank you so much for the opportunity. Hopefully we can link up and something in the future, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for hopping on, and thank you to the listener for catching us again on the Bullish Hoops podcast. Catch us live on YouTube postgame, live on Periscope for halftime. Me, Josh, Stevie, and whoever else that reaches out and DMs us will hop on and talk Bulls. As always, we got a special guest for you coming tomorrow or 2 days from now, whenever that is. Look for it. Should be fun, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.